Dan Bongino is our guest for just a segment or two. He, of course, is a best-selling author. He was a special agent with the Secret Service. Before that, a New York cop. He ended up leading the foreign details. He was a senior Secret Service agent. And obviously, he's never released any secrets about Obama or about the Clintons when she was in the State Department or anything else he saw. But he has been harassed and had a lot of mysterious things happen just for coming out and saying he politically opposes them. Now we have the emails that came out over a month ago that show the Democratic Party has been directing the media on what to say and having people dress up like Bernie Sanders supporters to go attack Trump supporters. Now, we knew this from our sources. Now it's confirmed. I also wanted to talk to him. We're not going to play it. It went viral last week for the interest of time. He was on Don Lemon. And Lemon was saying, oh, this is so horrible. Trump, is out here calling for the assassination of Hillary. And then basically trying to shut off Bongino, who's trained to know what real threats are. And I want him to be able to elaborate and not be interrupted here, even though he did destroy Lemon. I'm not a rocket scientist or a criminologist, but I'll tell you this. Trump was spouting the standard from my cold dead hands statement, or what I said, 1776 commences again, that everyone says that when all else is lost, we have the Second Amendment. That's basically in the Declaration of Independence. Now, that's what I got from it. In fact, I thought it was milquetoast compared to even stuff Reagan would say. He was just kind of like, well, if it's just the judges and they take it away, well, it's nothing you can do unless, I guess, maybe the Second Amendment folks think they can do something. I mean, that was just kind of relaying a cliche of the Second Amendment. And then I have the clips where, again, I have all these media pundits and other people, including the vice president, saying, if Obama tries to take my guns, I got my Beretta and I know how to use it. He's going to have a problem. Now, for me, that was a clear threat. It was a clear joke. But he was saying to the colloquialism of the grassroots Democrats from my cold, dead hand. Mr. Bongino, is that an accurate statement, do you think?
Yeah, I think what he was trying to do is get out the vote. I mean, I think he was clearly trying to marshal people who care about the right to self-protection, Alex. You know, it matters to them. He was clear. And Alex, let me just be clear on this from the start. But I'm not a Trump surrogate. I don't speak to him, the campaign. I'm doing my own thing. I have my own campaign in Florida to run. I went on there to defend what I think is liberty and conservative values.
You were a cruise guy. You were a cruise guy.
I was a cruise guy. Exactly. No kidding. That's the most amazing part of this whole thing. And I even said it in the interview. But Alex, if we allow, this is why what happened with Don Lemon and Trump's comments, this is why this is so destructive and why in this election this matters so much. And I know you know this on your show specifically. Once we allow the left-leaning media, which is what most of them are, to paint conservative or liberty-based talk as inherently violent, what do you think the next step is, Alex? The next step is censorship. You can't allow this to happen. So I'm asking your listeners whether you support Trump, Cruz, Rubio, Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Joey Bag of Donuts. I don't care who you support. Do not allow them to do this, because once they do it, it's the next step towards suppression of free speech, which the left has always.
And as usual, you cut right to the heart. They're censoring in Europe. They're starting to censor here. They admit they want to censor us because they can't compete with our ideas. And you hit the nail on the head. They are wanting to say it's radical. They want to put out these law enforcement advisements. They even tried to ban in the Navy the Gadsden flag that was the first flag of the U.S. Navy. I mean, they mean business.
Right, they do. And I'm glad you pointed out the fact that, one, Trump never mentioned the word gun when he was talking about he said the Second Amendment people. I don't know. That's his quote. Exactly. Almost verbatim. I may have missed a two-word or three-letter word in there, whatever. But he said Second Amendment people. I don't know. Joe Biden said, oh, he comes for my Beretta. And then Mrs. Clinton, I don't know if you remember this one, Alex, in 2008 when she was running against Barack Obama and was getting her butt kicked and wouldn't get out of the race. An editorial board said, well, why are you still in this race? You're going to lose. And she said, well, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in June. Wait, what? Bobby Kennedy was did she just imply that Barack Obama could potentially be assassinated? That's why she's in the race?
As a senior former Secret Service agent trained like no one else on how to assess a real threat, to me, that was a very mafioso, sly way to directly threaten Obama at a time that we know they were at each other's throats.
Well, I think what happens with politics is we tend to, you look at these things and you say, all right, they're running for office, and people say all kinds of desperate things running for office. I think it was clear when you contextualize all these statements, they were imprudently worded and probably could have been worded better. But the question you opened up with the show with, which is the important one, is was this a threat? The answer is, of course not. And what's sickening about this whole thing, Alex, is the left and the media knows it wasn't a threat. The only reason they're doing this is to influence elections and get the American people to think that any talk about liberty, any talk about
illegal.
Conservatism, about American values is inherently violent, and they're using it as a crutch to try and put a muzzle on conservative.
Exactly. In fact, I put together a news piece that we aired yesterday where I pointed out just that when Heston said it was okay, when I said it was okay, when everybody else said it, and Ronald Reagan said it, and Ice-T said it was okay, but suddenly he puts out a mild, wimpy form of the statement, and then they act like it's the end of the world. That shows they're trying to change the Overton window to make that basically illegal.
Right, and what they want to do also, yes, you're right. They want to frighten conservatives and libertarians and liberty-minded folks in the future from being able to discuss this issue either. You know, every time they do this, people say to themselves, whether advertently or inadvertently, they go, oh, gosh, if I bring up this Second Amendment thing, some media type going to say I'm calling for violence. You understand that this is what they want? This is the left-wing media's goal, and it's always been their goal. Their goal is to stop you from being able to say things that are going to fight to advance the cause of liberty, and this is how they do it. I mean, I read his statement, Trump's statement, in the Washington Post. I got when CNN sent me the request for an on-air hit. I had to read the article twice, Alex, to figure out what they were talking about. I'm not making this up. I read through it, and I'm like, I don't understand where the threat is here. I had to email him. I'm like, all right, I'll appear on the show, but I don't get it. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's this new thing where you got George Soros and these big foundations openly sending out provocateurs that are saying kill cops and burn down cities, and that's okay. And then they're twisting something Trump's done. It shows a new level of deception.
Right. You have BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, calling for pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. And then what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them now?
Bang, bang,
and
bang.
Yet the left is worried that Donald Trump said, hey, Second Amendment people, I don't know. I mean, that's the quote. If you're listening at home going, I don't understand what Bongino did.
And obviously, that's what they should all be talking about with Rolling Stone, the New York Times, calling for banning guns, time to, quote, repeal the Second Amendment. They should be talking about what the repercussions are going to be. Because, I mean, even if you're a Democrat, you should be asking yourself that.
Yeah, and the one thing I will give Trump, and again, I'm not a Trump surrogate. I appreciate that he tweeted some support. I could have used it after the Don Lemon interview where the left was, you should have seen the tweets I got. I'm sure you're used to them, but I'm not used to multiple, death threats in one night. One or two, okay, but I got, it was pretty nasty.
Yeah, 150 a minute, not good.
I mean, my Twitter account, just exploded, but I just need everybody to take away from this that this is a very coordinated effort by people on the left. You know what? What is it? Fred Siegel used to talk about in his book, Revolt Against the Masses, this iron triangle of the media, congressional committees, and left-wing activists, how left-wing activists push the media and congressional committees to advance issues. Make no mistake, that iron triangle is working together.
Oh, you can see it's a talking point across the board, and they are coming after our most basic of rights. In fact, because you mentioned it, let's play a clip of Heston and then dovetail it with Joe Biden on the campaign trail, 2008, basically saying, if Obama comes after my gun, I'm going to stand up to him. Here's a clip.
From my cold, dead hands.
I guarantee you, Barack Obama ain't taking my shotguns, so don't buy that malarkey. Don't buy that malarkey. They're gonna start peddling that to you. I got two. If he tries to fool with my Beretta, he's got a problem. I like a little over and under. I'm not bad with it.
Can you imagine Mr. Bongino, Bongino.com, former senior Secret Service agent who quit because he couldn't be part of what he saw? He's never told us what it is. Imagine if Trump would have made that Joe Biden statement.
Alex, I hate to say it, but if you said that, you'd probably be in jail. I mean, seriously, if you were to use that exact Joe Biden quote and not change it a bit, you'd probably you would probably be in jail, because I know how these things work behind the scenes, how they investigate these threat things. But again, because he's a liberal leftist, he's given a complete total pass, because the implicit way to think, the way the media wants you to think, is that the left is always innocent, they always have good intentions, and we should always defend them. And the right, everything they say is a call to violence, and you should have to defend why we shouldn't lock you up or investigate you. It's a complete paradigm shift, and it's very dangerous to the cause of liberty. And this is what really worries me about the future of the country. We can have sound debates, Alex, reasonable debates about what the tax rate should be, import-export policy. I mean, I always default to liberty in these things. But I understand how some liberals, maybe they feel otherwise. That's okay. What we can't have a debate about, what we can never have a debate about, is God-given, capital G-O-D, God-given rights to speech, assembly, religion. These are things that are not debatable.
Dan Bongino, we've only got about 5-6 minutes left with you. I want to spend some time about what you're up to these days and where you see the campaign going in 2016 and more. But shifting gears, I know a couple times because you've called us or sent us an email asking, hey, did you say the other day that I was your source for something? We've never said you've been our source. You've only said on air the things you say. You've never released any info other than saying it's worse than what people are saying, and that's what other Secret Service agents have said here on this show. But we know what's going on with Hillary. We know she was in a hospital for almost a year and had brain surgeries. They've kept it secret, but they admit it. We know she's deteriorating. And I went to Cleveland. I don't get the Secret Service in trouble. I was blown away by it because I've been to a lot of major events over the years, and I had a few federal marshals or Secret Service say hi or say they like the show. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the crew witnessed it over and over again. The Secret Service, like, cheering us. And I don't want to say that's unprofessional, but that's what was going on. And then we had some Secret Service folks want to talk to us, and I passed it over to Biggs. And they said, well, just in about a month or so, you're going to get some info. Well, it came through the channels, non-digital, and it was just basically what you're saying about Hillary is true. We're really worried. We don't know how they think she's even going to make it. She's basically having seizures all the time. They've had to put in handicap stuff to get her in the cars. There's scuttlebutt about some big announcement. Now, obviously, this is the kind of stuff you can get people put in prison or killed. I just have a duty when real Secret Service agents, I mean, you're there in Cleveland. This is going on. Things are so bad behind the scenes that we've gotten to this point. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, by the way, that meltdown by the Young Turks guy was just classic. That's some of the best video I'm not kidding, man. I watched that thing 3 times. That was hysterical to watch these liberals lose their minds, So good job on that one.
Well, what happened there was, just briefly, their people set him up and told me to go up. He was okay with it at first. Then when he saw Roger Stone, that's when he blew up. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
that was good. No, and what I said, and I said this a while ago, and this clip went viral too, that it's worse than talking about the Obama administration from the inside. I meant it. And what I mean to say, and what I think your listeners need to take away from this is, I don't think even the hardcore conservatives and liberty-based folks who understand the gravity of the fight we're fighting understand really the level of rank incompetence going on in the White House. Now, I get it. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing in regards to, the implementation of Obamacare, so it was designed to fail, so that a third-party payer government-run system. You're right. It was designed to fail. But what I'm saying is, I don't think you understand the amateur hour nature of the administration and how they can't even keep control of just basic things. In other words, yes, their plan is always for bigger government and implement control.
They've got a plan, but they're truly incompetent, which is frightening. Well, let me expand on this. We're about to put people back in that stole the China that was George Washington's. I mean,
right, Alex, this is important. They're so incompetent, amateur hour, that even though they're ideological hard leftists who are implementing the exact plan you guys thought with Obamacare and taxes and everything, the war on cash and all this stuff, they're so ignorant to what's going on that they can't even implement their failures effectively.
And is that why? Because, I'll tell you, sir, I'm shocked. And obviously this is dangerous. I don't like it, but I have a duty when it's real to report it. And it wasn't any secret stuff or any documents. It was just, hey, yeah, you're on target. Here's some info. What does it say about the incompetence inside the government at the White House level that the Secret Service is now at the point that they are so concerned about what's going on that information is being leaked?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are upset. I mean, you saw the book, Gary Burns' book. Gary was, I get it, Alex. I mean, it's not my thing to do these tell-all books. I don't understand. It's not my bag of chips. But I understand why people are doing it. I mean, a lot of people are starting to speak out because this is the calculus they're making, Alex. They're saying, all right, I get it. There's a certain oath to keep quiet in the Secret Service. But isn't there an oath to save the country first? I mean, you're a federal agent who swore to uphold the Constitution.
Will you uphold that oath and get your kids killed? Exactly. There's got to be some point at which, when you've got foreign actors, Chinese communists, admittedly, I mean, I've been told by former deputy directors of the CIA that Hillary is a Chinese spy. I mean, there's got to be some level where I'm asking myself, what do I do, Dan?
Well, I don't know if she's a Chinese spy or not, but I can tell you this. I doubt it, but I know her emails. I know for a fact that her staff knew that that server had been hacked. I knew it. And whether she's doing it de facto and sharing information and didn't know or did know, either way, this is what I'm talking about, by the gross level of incompetence. They can't even implement a design failure.
The White House run Media Matters came out and attacked you when you were on 6 months ago and said the hack when they knew it had been hacked. Exactly. They don't even want to plug the hacks. They don't want Secret Service telling, you know, how evil Hillary is, but they don't care if every foreign government in the world can just jump on her server.
No, and this is the crazy thing about that attack. Like, I'm telling you on your show that the person who told me this is an unimpeachable first-hand source who was there, was literally there, like physically at the scene when this happened. So you would think the left, Alex, to save the country would be like, oh, my gosh, we've had a major hack of the Secretary of State. This could be a big deal. We should try to fix this. No, their only concern is let's discredit the source. Who cares if they know about CIA operatives overseas, the Chinese or the Russians, and people get killed? I mean, we already saw the scientist who was killed. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. These people don't care about the country.
We've only got 2 minutes left. I know you've got to go. But seriously, go back, because I was interrupting. I mean, at the point where the Secret Service was cheering me, I was almost embarrassed because, I mean, what does that say about the psychology in the government that they're so panicked that they're just happy to see little old Alex Jones as if there's some hope over there? I mean, that put responsibility on me that just blew my mind. Because let me tell you, if Alex Jones is like some big shot at the Secret Service, we're in deep crap.
I think people are really upset within the government. I think they feel like there's an elite class of bourgeois insider government officials that live by a completely different set of rules. I mean, whether it was the Kathleen Sebelius Hatch Act violation, Jim Clapper lying to Congress about spying on Americans, Hillary Clinton with the email server, and then you get rank-and-file men and women in the Secret Service, the FBI, and other government agencies that if they did the same thing would find themselves in bracelets and handcuffs. And they feel like, you know, what the heck is this? I mean, I didn't sign up for this junk. And I think that's why you're seeing this. That's why you're seeing this affecting people on the inside.
You know you've been betrayed, and you know you're fundamentally hated by a criminal culture. It's like they run the country. They run it all, and it's the old story, I'm going to let you go, of Ron Silver when the Clintons first got in, the Hollywood actor and producer. Jets fly over, and he goes, they're threatening us. That's how, and they go, no, those are our jets now. A lot of these people literally don't even get it, and I think that's why Hillary reportedly treats the Secret Service so bad. How did Obama treat the Secret Service? You can't say.
No, I mean, listen, he was always nice personally to me. I mean, but I always tell people none of that matters. I mean, I don't want to date the guy. You know, I want a guy who's going to be a liberty-respecting, Constitution-loving president, and he's not. I mean, none of that matters. They were all nice guys. I mean, you know, but none of that really matters.
So what's it say about Hillary then? What's it say about Hillary that universally people say she's super hateful?
Yeah, I'm going to reserve comment on that one. That my comment is reserving my comment on that one.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Give us 60 seconds on what is going on in Bongino land right now and Bongino.com.
Yeah, the race is looking great. So anything, Alex, your audience is really passionate. I always appreciate whenever I come on your show, we always pick up a lot of Twitter followers and a lot of donations. So I appreciate it.
Well, sure, even mainstream media is saying you're probably going to win this one. How do we make sure that happens? Tell folks briefly about the race.
Yeah, it's Florida 19, the congressional district, Naples, Fort Myers, Lee, Collier County, those two areas there. So if you live down there, make sure you vote. And if you want to help us out, it's Bongino.com. I'd really appreciate it. Your audience is pretty passionate. So.
And folks can follow you on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for spending time with us and for speaking to us.
Yeah, man, you got it. Talk to you soon.
There he goes. And again, you heard me bring up the Secret Service cheering us and all that. I don't say that to brag, okay? It's surreal